Hey everyone, it's Melissa with Big Universe Music, and I am going to talk to you today about why bar chords are so difficult for so many people. The bar chord in my mind is the transition between being a beginner to an intermediate guitar player. So if you felt yourself struggling at this place, it is completely normal and you're not alone. The first thing that you should check about your bar chords if you're struggling is that you have a guitar that's set up easily for you to play. We want something with relatively low action, which means the distance from the string to the fretboard is very close. Not everyone can afford a super expensive guitar, but there are great deals out there, or you can take your guitar to a luthier. I'd also suggest maybe trying a nylon string guitar or an electric guitar, as sometimes the action is much lower than some of our steel string guitars. So first, make sure your instrument is working properly and you have the correct setup. Next, you may be pressing down too hard, or you may be thinking about the bar chord as if you always have to add a ton of pressure. So in our mind, when we look at the bar, we're thinking that our finger should be always pressing down all 6 strings. But in reality, the finger really only needs to work on 1, 2, maybe 3 strings at the most. So let's find our B minor chord shape. I'm going to make that on the 2nd fret, and then the rest of my fingers are going to form A minor shape. It's exactly the same as A minor, but slid up to B minor. And what we need from this finger is this note and that note. That's our root note of the B minor chord. You can add this one in, but it's not necessary for the B minor chord. You only need this finger, the bar, to work on the 5th string and the 1st string. So if you think about it like that, like you're using the side of your knuckle to press down the 1st string, and you're using the tip of your finger to press down the 5th string, and then these other fingers are also working for you to make sure that you've got a nice clean chord out of string 2, 3, and 4. Think about it that way. Think about what strings you actually need to press down with your bar. Another approach I like to take is when I make my bar chord, I set all of the fingers besides my bar first. I will make a little harder bar chord is the B major chord. So my pinky, my ring, and my middle finger are going to be on string 2, 3, and 4. Make sure I have those first. And then I'm gonna add my root note with my pointer finger, just the tip. And I'm thinking of it as more of a 4-finger chord than I am as a bar. My hand is stretching to get that. I'm not resting my knuckle down on the 1st string yet. I'm just trying to get those 4 notes. Now I'm gonna set my knuckle down, get that B bar chord. The last thought is to experiment with how much pressure you actually need to press down a string. So many of us think the answer is to just squeeze, 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 and sometimes when you first start, you might have to do that to get the feel. But as you develop more advanced skills, start thinking about how little pressure you need to apply. So where you press the fret matters. If you press here versus if you press back here. I have a bar here. I can get all the notes there, but not there, with the same amount of pressure, right? So where you're putting your bar also matters. So we want to kind of be just behind the fret. And what I do to experiment with this is I set my finger gently on the strings, just touching it, not pressing down, and then pluck, then add a little bit more pressure, like 10% more. Not there yet, 10% more. So I've already got most of my strings working out with a very light amount of pressure. And then I add a little bit more on the bottom of my knuckle. Good, almost there except that center one. And there, I got them all. Not as much pressure as you think you really need unless the action is super high on your guitar, in which case remember to take care of your instrument and go to a luthier. But that was just kind of my talk today on why bar chords are so hard. I hope some of those tricks help you to get better. Yeah, have fun playing, and I'll see you later.